Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has told a congressional committee she does not remember ever meeting the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Clinton also said her husband Bill's connection to Epstein ended years before the pedophile's crimes came to light. The former president is due to testify later on Friday. He features prominently in the latest batch of Epstein files released by the Department of Justice. President Donald Trump is among many international figures mentioned in the files, but has not been subpoenaed by Congress. Well, for more, I'm joined now by Scott Lucas. He's a professor of American Studies at the Clinton Institute for American Studies at University College Dublin. The institute was established in 2001 to honor President Bill Clinton's role in the Irish peace process. Scott, Hillary Clinton has said she does not recall ever meeting Epstein and that she wasn't aware of his crimes. What do you make of her statement?
Oh, I think the records and the witnesses bear her out, that beyond a couple of photographs of the Clintons with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at large social occasions in New York in the early 21st century, there's no evidence that Clinton even had a significant conversation with Epstein. Now, of course, her husband, Bill Clinton, did have those conversations with Epstein. He traveled on Epstein's private jet. Clinton says it was part of his work for the Clinton Foundation, their humanitarian project. There is, though I must emphasize, no evidence that Bill Clinton had any involvement with any of Epstein's financial or pedophilia, financial crimes or pedophilia before 2008 when Epstein was convicted in Florida. And there is no evidence that Bill Epstein maintained any type of relationship with Epstein after that date. I think the one thing that put it on the record in a need for context is that Hillary Clinton was in contact with Ghislaine Maxwell after 2008. But it's important to note that when Ghislaine Maxwell attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010, it was only as a +1, not as an invited guest. And that when Ghislaine Maxwell was at the Clinton Global Initiative meeting in 2013, she was one of hundreds of invited guests. So no, there is no significant relationship between the Clintons, Epstein, and Maxwell. And I doubt there will be one, even if the White House releases all of the Epstein files.
Well, all eyes right now are on Bill Clinton, who is set to testify today. He has not been accused of wrongdoing in his relationship with Epstein. What can we expect to hear from him?
Well, the problem, Terry, is that you can't expect to hear anything from them until the transcripts are released by the committee. I think Hillary Clinton, however, said probably what Bill will, which is that the questions from the Trumpists on the committee were long and repetitive yesterday. We know that there was no significant new questions that came out from the House Republicans from their own briefings after the meeting. Indeed, they sort of ran out of ammunition to try to take down Clinton, so they wound up questioning her about UFOs and the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, the anti-Clinton conspiracy theory in 2016. So, I'll be very surprised when that transcript comes out if there's anything significant. I'll be very surprised when the transcript comes out of the meeting with Bill Clinton if there's anything significant. And the fundamental here is that what is significant is probably in those more than 3 million pages of the Epstein files that the White House refuses to release, and in the heavy redactions on the files that they have actually let go forward.
Scott, thank you very much. That was Scott Lucas with the Clinton Institute at University College Dublin.
Thank you.
Let's bring in Ilana Shore, senior Washington editor at Semaphore. Ilana, Hillary Clinton just made a statement and said that she's confident her husband knew nothing of the Epstein crimes. What's your reaction?
Well, I mean, Mrs. Clinton was expected to say something like this. There's no proof that she did have any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. In fact, my biggest takeaway from this was how combative it got between the former First Lady and Republicans. And this is really a preview for the Bill Clinton deposition coming, which will be much more heated because even Democrats have said they want to ask him some tough questions. Today was a lot of theater because Hillary Clinton said, rightly, I never met Mr. Epstein and I have no knowledge.
Did anything else stand out to you from her statements?
I was very struck by the pause that occurred in the deposition when a member of Congress named Lauren Boebert, a far-right Republican from Colorado, leaked a photo of Mrs. Clinton that was posted by a conservative blogger. Now, this disrupted things. Mrs. Clinton walked out for one reason. The Clintons had initially asked for all of this to be public, and exactly what they feared was embarrassing pictures taken out of context to make Mrs. Clinton look bad, which was exactly what did happen. So it was almost a surprise that the deposition was allowed to continue after that moment.
As you mentioned, the Clintons wanted their testimony to be made public, but the Republicans refused to do that. Why?
I can't read their minds. I do believe that by requesting that privacy, they did want to create a situation like the leaked photo that occurred today, and ideally something that might have gone even further to embarrass the former First Lady, Secretary of State, who remains a huge political target for the Republican Party.
Democrats say the Republicans are using these subpoenas to distract from evidence in the Epstein files against Donald Trump and his associates. Is that a narrative that most people in the U.S. buy?
Yes, I think so. I think it's an article of faith in America that Donald Trump is the most exposed politician in the Epstein files, which is not to say that Trump's supporters don't like to talk about Bill Clinton's clear ties to Epstein and other Democrats who had ties to him. But, nothing beats the proximity that Donald Trump had to Epstein, and nothing beats the political target the Democrats want to paint on Trump's back relative to other members in their party.
Do you see any possibility the Republicans will call Trump or other high-ranking Republicans to testify?
That's another great question. I think there's an outside but really fascinating chance that Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who's also in some trouble for telling a podcaster that he cut off ties with Epstein and later admitting to lawmakers he and his family visited the Epstein Island, I think Lutnick could potentially be in trouble. Republicans are already saying they refuse to rule out subpoenaing him as part of their investigation.
Now, the Department of Justice is looking into reports that it failed to release some documents, including allegations against Trump. What more do we know about that?
Well, that stems from a report that began with a blogger and got picked up by major outlets in America, including the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, that there was an interview conducted with a woman who alleged that Trump sexually assaulted her when she was much younger. The FBI did clearly conduct interviews with her, and those materials were missing from the initial Epstein release. So when this blogger's reporting got picked up and confirmed by major U.S. media organizations, the Department of Justice was forced to acknowledge this.
Journalist Ilana Shore, thank you so much for talking to DW.
Thank you.